Hello everybody, this is Matador from freetradingvideos.com. It's Friday, March 20th, 2009, and we have some news coming out, of course, around noon. Bernanke is going to start talking, and everything up until that point seems to be a little bit of a chop, a little bit of a sell-off. Not at all surprising after a huge run-up that we've had. And there's a whole slew of other news as well. I'm just looking at Yahoo Finance again here, but all that sort of pales in comparison to what Bernanke is going to be talking about, so we'll see how that affects the markets. Again, we're just a little bit overbought right now to my eye after a huge run-up over the last few days. You can see this is just a 10-day, 15-minute chart. And if I zoom in here, you can see that $78 mark that we had been viewing as resistance back in here again and again, and it broke out of that, right? It's now being used as support, and at least until they start talking around noon. That's about 15 minutes from now, Eastern Standard Time. And again, zooming back out, I'd like to go look at a daily chart with you. Again, this is just the spiders. And so again, here's this big run-up. We had talked about this gap fill. So 82.50, good resistance. Even back in here, the $80 mark. 50 MA overhead, kind of bumping our head on that right now. And this sell-off, again, if we can get a higher swing low out of here, that would be fantastic. That would say a lot about the strength of what people are thinking about the economy and so on and so forth. But again, we're definitely in an area where there's a lot of overhead resistance to fight into. We now have some good underlying support being formed for the first time in a while, which is encouraging. We'll see if we can keep that up. And that's what I see with regards to the S&P 500 especially. If I take a look at the tick and the trend, let's take a look at the tick first. A little bit of an intraday look at that. So above zero or below zero, we've spent about half the day above and below zero, maybe a little bit more below. That sort of coincides with how the S&P has been looking intraday as well. Good bit of a sell-off here toward the end of the day yesterday, and also this morning, just a little bit of a drop. Let's take a look at the trend here as well. I always like doing that. If you hadn't noticed, it's a fantastic way to look at this. And this is actually pretty interesting. So right around 1.0, that is again corroborating the sideways action that we have in place right now ahead of this announcement. The trend Q would probably be similar. Let's take a look. Interesting. Gapped down, ran up to about the 1 mark, and then it's now above that. So maybe a little bit of bearish sentiment flowing into this market, people selling off ahead of time. A little bit nervous possibly about what's going to be said and how the markets are going to digest that. And then, of course, the VIX is sort of just holding steady. Actually, this would be a great ascending triangle pattern here, but that would be a bearish read if it broke out to the above side, and if that coincided with the sell-off in the market and a subsequent rise in the trends, then that would be good corroborating evidence that the markets might be heading lower on whatever news comes out in about 10 minutes here. So it's kind of fun to burn a video here pre-news, see how these things work out with regards to that. I personally don't trade into news. I try to avoid it, watch how the markets react to that, and then look for relative strength and weakness stocks. Things are holding up well right now. Things that are failing right now, even ahead of this news, are very easy to spot. And then you can look for great patterns and setups with those stocks. Make sure that the broad markets are, again, corroborating the upside or downside movement, and trade off of those. So it's kind of fun, but I wanted to show you that, and I hope you guys are having a great week so far. And have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week if I don't burn some movies over the weekend, which I might do. So stay tuned. Take care.